Hey, howdy everybody. Good evening to you. I think I clicked the live button. All right, and if you're watching this later, welcome. Glad to have you. Topic you can see today is going to be a little bit of a board game battle. We're going to have just a chat first, just Gary and I about some games we've been playing. But hopefully we're going to get Marty here as well from Rolling Dice and Taking Names. And we're going to have a versus, including all of y'all in the chat there, to decide which game is going to win each matchup and what's the best game overall in this matchup here. Totally fair. And oh, I'm hearing my echo. Let me turn my volume off. There we go. All right, Gary. Howdy.
Yes. Hi, how you doing?
Introduce us as usual. Tell us who you are, and then I want to hear you talk something about a little bit of a convention. So
Okay, yeah. So my name's Gary, and I live here in Indianapolis, home of Gen Con. And we do there's like a little group of well, obviously there's a lot of gamers in Indy, but there's been a group that's been a core group here up on the north side. And they have longer than I've been around here, but a little con called IndyCon. It usually lasts about 2, sometimes 3 days, but lately it's been like 2 days, and they usually cap it like around 200 people, which is always nice because if you've never been to a small con, those are just great because you get to know the people. You always see the familiar faces, and what kind of games
you get to play more games.
You get to play way more games. Yeah, you're not, not like you're at Gen Con where you're going from one hotel to another hotel to the convention center to the football stadium, just trying to, you're going to spend more hours walking than you actually will be playing games. So it's always nice just to kind of sit down. And so, yeah, it's always been about 200 people. And so we had our spring IndyCon last weekend. And yeah, that was a lot of fun, and got to play a couple games I have, but I've never played and I wanted to play, and a couple of new games because Man vs. Meeple, who I used to be with, David and Ryan, they kind of also sponsor the IndyCon. They're one of the main sponsors. And so
Okay.
David had he now works with Simon, but he had a couple of newer games that are about to go on, crowdfunding or soon to be released. So we got to play a couple of those. One was really interesting called Panda Spin. It's kind of a little bit of a take. It's a card shedding game. It's a little bit of
pull it up.
It's a little bit of a take on Tichu, if you've ever played Tichu.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's really
Long
neat
time
because
ago.
as you're playing your cards, if you don't win the trick, because you win by doing runs or sets or things like that, like in Tichu.
Cool little art too.
Yeah. And what happens if you say you don't win? You always start with the cards are split in 2 sections, and the card art is great. One side is just kind of the top. The main playing card is like a white side. When you play your cards, if you don't win, you take your cards back, but you flip them, and that card now becomes more powerful for maybe a future run that you might have, or a set or something. And you're just basically playing until you shed all your cards, and you keep going till everybody is pretty much done. Then there's some little tokens for points, and you pretty much just keep going till 15 points. But it was a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed it. Plays quick once people kind of understand, how the game plays. If you never played Teach, you might take a couple rounds to kind of get the idea of what's going on. But I really enjoyed that. I finally got to play Marrakesh. I've had it for over a year and a half.
That's just a beautiful looking one.
Oh,
is that the Queen Games?
That's the Queen. It's Stefan Feld.
Okay.
It's his newest game.
Big box.
Big box. And you got the little wooden pieces. They're called keshi, and you take them and you toss them in a tower because every round you're going to pick 3 of them behind your screen, because each color lets you do one section of your board. whether you're going to build or go down a river or shop or whatever. But you put it in a tower, but that tower has other pieces inside it that can catch some of these keshies. So even though you're putting them in the tower, not all of them are going to come out. And it keeps going round and round. So maybe later on, a couple rounds, like, oh, there's that one I put in, and it comes out on a board, and then you take turns drafting them. Then you do your actions and stuff like that. And I really liked it. Stefan,
how many players?
We played 4. So
how long?
Well, we had to do a teach. David loves the game, so he taught it. It was probably like a 35 minute teach because he's taught it a few times, so it kind of went pretty smoothly. But once we got to playing, it was probably with 4 players. It'd be perfect at 3. It plays great at 2, he says, but we're probably right around 2 hour 40 minutes.
Okay.
With a
that's
teach,
really good.
With a teach,
with 4 people, that's
3.
that's really good. I played botany, which I loved, but I played botany the first time at 5 players with the teach, and I had only slotted 3 hours. I thought 3 hours would be enough time before the next game I was signed up for, and we were maybe past a halfway point. So it was a little long at the 5, but I loved it. But that's great with the teach.
Yeah. And granted, you're at a con where everybody plays lots of games. So granted, the other 2 people caught on pretty quick, and you kind of got the mechanics going. But I will say, like I said, Feld can be a little hit or miss with me, but that easily, just that one play, I was like, oh, there's different modules and other things you can do. That one definitely shot way, way up for me of the Feld games. I've always liked Merlin. I know Merlin is, some people can't stand it. Some people love it. I always have liked Merlin. A lot of people love Castles of Burgundy. I'm kind of burnt out on it. So Marrakesh is way high now in a Feld game. I would
like to play more of it. I think Burgundy is possibly the only Feld game that I've played.
So you haven't played like Bonfire or?
I didn't play Bonfire. It looked interesting. I know
Bruges is very good. Well, now it's called Hamburg or something. Bruges is great. That was probably my favorite Feld, but Marrakesh may have taken that over. But he does have some great games. Bora Bora, that's another great one. That's a heavier one. But like all the Felds, lots of points, lots of different ways to get points and ways to win and stuff like that. So I always enjoy that games kind of like that. We always play a game of Cthulhu Death May Die. Like 4 or 5 people. We actually played 2 this year, and I love that game. That game's so much fun. So played a couple of those, and I'm trying to think. Played Bomb Busters. I never played Bomb Busters. Have you played that?
I haven't played Bomb Buster. I played 2 Rooms in a Boom.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Probably, I don't know if it's the same.
I don't think it's the same. Okay. Actually, I think Bomb Busters is up for Spiel, one of the Spiel des Jahres.
Maybe I was listening to the Dice Tower podcast, and it sounds like they were talking about this.
I think, it's like, because I know Flip 7 is one of them, Bomb Busters, and then a game that's in just Europe. So I'm not even sure if that one is in America. I can't remember the name of it. So.
Okay.
But yeah, so I got to play that. Oh, and I played Ezra and Nehemiah with some good friends. So that was a lot of fun. I always
do you recommend that one?
I do. I mean, I like most Garfield games, and I really like that one. I just like the action because some of their games, sometimes I feel, and this is on my own personal opinion, they kind of start to get a little more complex than they need to be. But that one is like a sweet spot. And so I really enjoy that one. Of course, I always, I like Architects and Paladins. I haven't played Scholars though. I need to play Scholars. But yeah, I always like Garfield games. They always come out with fun and interesting things.
Okay. All right. Let me put this. There we go. We just had a question from Gizmo, so we can still talk about games, but let's take a look at this face-off thing here. So Gizmo, your question, how are the games determined? So, as with most things I do, incredibly well planned out, right? No, so I asked both Marty and Gary to pick 8 games to pit against each other. And the only rule was I don't believe I gave any rules or anything. It was just what do you think would win, period, against the different games. So Gary, you gave me 8 games, and in as fair as it was, so you didn't get to know what Marty picked. So I sent the 8. I think it went that way. I sent the 8 you picked to Marty and said, "This is what you're up against. What games do you want to go against it?" So we ended up with I thought, some pretty good choices of like some party games versus party games, Euros versus Euros. As far as setting them up on this grid, though, you can see how they're set up at the moment. But right before we start it, if you want to, because what we're going to do is, so let's say we're going to start with the bracket Castles of Burgundy versus Orleans. I'll just ask in chat, and even if there's only a few of you in here, that's okay, because you get to have all the say. We're not doing anything fancy with voting. We get some busy typing fingers. And I was hoping, I know Marty's, he's pretty busy, so hopefully he pops in or he's okay. But I was hoping if he was here, I would be the tiebreaker, because that's just fun. But
yeah, that means all my games wins, right? Because he's not here by default.
no,
I get the
because
victory.
I changed my name. It's Mike, aka Marty. So Marty is here.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
He shed a few years and some wisdom. So so we get a dumbed down version of Marty. But yeah, so we're gonna do the face off that way. Decide, which one's better, Castles of Burgundy or Orleans. Move that one forward. Those 4 face off to the 2 until we get to the final one that's going to win. We've got 7 X's because 7 games are going to get knocked out, and the winner gets to be the winner. And that's it at this point. But before we do it, so Gary, you see the setup I put here.
Yes.
But when you're looking at it, are there any of the games that you picked that you want moved to a different place? And I can move them for you.
Let's see.
If you've got any recommendations,
There are some
Gizmo, that
tough...
would be better matchups.
No, I think it seems pretty fair. I mean, that left side of the bracket, that's a tough bracket over there. So that's a tough one. But no, I got no problems with that. I see what you're trying to do there. Nah.
Yeah. I tried to not put like Camel Up against Terraforming Mars.
Right.
Which,
because you know what's going to happen there. Yeah.
It depends. Well, that depends who's in the chat, right?
That's
Winner
right.
coming out of the top left. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, let's start with one. Let's start with the bottom right. Okay. So let's go Ticket to Ride versus Camel Up. And I know that I'm Marty, but I don't remember what I picked. So which one of those was yours, Gary?
Oh, mine was Camel Cup, or Camel Up.
Okay, all right. So in chat, is it Camel Cup or Camel?
Well, Up? It's both. Because it was always. I think it's technically is Camel Cup, like a cup of a
like
winning
the C is big and it covers both.
Right.
Okay.
And so a lot of people just said Camel Up, but I think it's
All
Camel
right.
Cup is the official. I think I'd have to. I wonder what BGG says.
All right. Well, I want you to type in the chat.
Let's say Camel Up. So,
okay.
Camel Up.
Camel Up. Type in the chat which one. If you could only keep one of these games, Ticket to Ride or Camel Up, type that in the chat. And while we do that, please argue your defense for Camel Up and why it's better than Ticket to Ride, Gary.
Yeah, for me, Ticket to Ride's a good game. I really like Camel Up because I've actually played this game because you can play this with large crowds. And it is kind of one of those games where you kind of stand around the table and everybody's standing up and everybody's got their camel. And they even got there's some fun new things that can add in other camels that are going the other way and pick up your camel and start going like, no, right when you're winning. But just to be able to, you're kind of placing your little bets and stuff. But the little mechanism they have to where, I mean, I've played this with I think the most is 12 people where you kind of team up with.
I didn't know it got that big.
You team up with somebody. And that's basically kind of how it works. So you can make it bigger, but I do think it goes up to 8. maybe. I'd have to
Okay.
look, but I just like the ability. It's super interactive. It's super fast. It's super random. You really kind of get into your camel, and it's just a lot of fun stand-up moments. So I've always really enjoyed Camel Up.
Okay. I'm supposed to argue for Ticket to Ride, but Marty picked it. And even though I am Marty, not Marty, I am volunteering the loss on that one for Ticket to Ride. Because if you want to play something like Ticket to Ride, play Expeditions Around the World or something. I think particularly for a group game, I think Camel Up just sounds like so much more fun. So, Marty, you lost by veto. And I'm okay with that.
And you
I'm
know
all right with
what?
that.
Ticket to Ride's won enough awards over the last
And
20 years or whatever.
I
It's
moved
just,
the whole screen.
oh, there you go.
It
So,
has. It
so
has.
it's time for Camel Up to take let's get a victory.
There we go.
Time for the
All right.
camels. Does
I
it go
think it
on
moved
that
them
one or
right
the
that
one right?
time.
I think it goes to the one right next to it.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
It doesn't get to jump ahead.
Yeah. I mean, that's
All
fine.
right.
Like the camels do, but
It's not. No, there we go. Technology. Yeah. Boo earns. All right. Obsession versus Puerto Rico. So this is still, I believe I would have picked Obsession. What did you pick? You brought
Obsession
Puerto
was the
Rico.
one the Obsession is the one I picked. Believe it or not, I have never played Puerto Rico. I mean, I'd like to. I know it's a classic, but I like Obsession. That was a game I didn't play for years until I finally like, you know what, I want to play this. I played it actually I may have played it first at IndieCon. Totally fell in love with it. That's a game that'll never leave my collection. I just love the hand management part of it, the drafting, the
Yeah.
theme. The theme is cool, even if I'm not into the Downton Abbey or like that kind of Victorian stuff. But it just works. It's funny. It is one of those games that when you're talking, you start talking like a British person. It's just
You
it's just
do,
something.
yeah.
It just kind of
Unless
comes out.
you get one of those dirty Americans that bring in money but ruin your reputation.
That's right. It's just such a smooth game. Even all the expansions he's brought out have worked well. You don't have to play with them, but I do. I'm a big fan of Obsession.
Yeah, and we've got the Awakened Realms of Puerto Rico coming out, so I'm actually waiting for that for my
Oh, the
first
big
play.
deluxe thing with the
Yeah, I'm
boats
waiting
and
for that
everything.
for my first play of it. And I would have actually argued probably for Puerto Rico, but I'm also tired of Obsession, though it's very good. So we're going to go with Gizmo's swing here.
All
And
right.
Puerto Rico, in this case, is knocked out. And it's going to be Obsession versus Camel Up coming up soon. All right. That's an interesting I didn't think about those odd mix ups. Hey, that's life.
That's
All
right.
right. That's life. What's this thing up there? Time's Up versus Code Names. We're going to go to the top one.
All
Time's Up
right.
versus Code Names. You brought Code Names, didn't you?
No, I brought Time's Up.
Okay, I can speak to Code Names. You speak to Time's Up.
Time's Up is Flip 7's really kind of taken the lead, probably in like just an automatic, great fun party game. But Time's Up
Yeah.
is obviously is different. It's kind of the charades thing. It gets harder to do it, and when you get the right group, especially when you play in teams like 4-on-4, 5-on-5, or it can be hysterical. Especially when you get people
Yeah.
who kind of get into it. Absolutely hysterical. I love that game. I'll always play Time's Up anytime, anywhere. It's a game I even taught like 10 years ago. People at work, they wanted something to do
Yeah.
at lunch, so I taught them that. I mean, it was like for 2 months,
How
every
long did
day
it
at
take to
lunch.
teach again?
Minutes.
Okay.
There's 3 rounds. The first one, first you can you got to give a clue, and then it's like and then the next time it's like a 1-word clue, and then in the third round you can say nothing else. You got to charade it out.
Yeah.
There's a couple other little rules in there, but that's the gist of it. And you're using the same stack of cards. It's usually like you always want to use an odd number, like 21 cards or 31 cards. And whether you're guessing people or guessing titles of movies, names, books, I like that one better. It's a little more fun. And you got 30 seconds to get as many as you can. You just keep going back and forth till the deck runs out in each round, but it just becomes hysterical. So a lot of
Yeah.
fun moments in that one.
In defense of code names, it doesn't take long to teach, obviously, but it does take, sounds like a little more than Time's Up, just to give the idea that you're trying to use one word or just one word to represent 3 different possible pictures on the cards. I've had great success with this game playing with other couples. There was this one night, it was real fun. It ended up being like a dad, a son, and then me and I took an astray. So it was like, dad versus son night, and it was fun. It was really fun doing code names with that. So I could argue for it, but I think it is just a little harder to teach, a little better for introverts maybe than Time's Up. So I'm not too sure. Do we have any tiebreaker in the chat there? Gizmo, you said never played Time's Up and you enjoy Codenames, tire of it quickly. I'm going to use that unless somebody else hops in here. Gary's taken too many wins, and that's because Marty didn't show and made me show for him.
And
So that's what we're going to take, I think. Even though I really do think Codenames is a great one to have in the library.
Yeah. But it's funny,
Right,
as good as I've played lots of code names. I enjoy code, but it's also fallen flat sometimes with some groups. Especially like you said, if people don't kind of understand what you're trying to do.
Or they stress too much about it.
Right. Yeah. It's like, yeah, don't overthink that. Or I've seen the groups where people like don't really know kind of what they're doing or kind of get it, but they don't understand meta. And you have other people in there that are doing the meta part of it. Like, yeah, it's going to kind of start flying over people's heads.
Yeah. Well, let's see our next matchup. So type in the chat which one, if you can only keep one of these, which one are you going to keep? Are you going to keep Brass? Is that Birmingham?
Probably.
I think it's got to be. I don't think it's Lancashire. Let me see. Yeah, it's Brass Birmingham versus Great Western Trail. This is the 2nd edition, but we'll just say any edition of any and all Great Western Trail and Brass Birmingham. So which one did you pick? And state your case, Gary.
So I picked Great Western Trail. It's still one of my most favorite games by Pfister. Of course, I've always enjoyed a lot of Pfister games, but I love the theme. I know like the New Zealand, I haven't played New Zealand, but I know it kind of improves on a few things. I think it also makes it a little bit heavier, but I have enjoyed every play of Great Western Trail I've ever done. Even the Argentina, I think one's good. I would like to. I need
That's
to play
the one I have that I am waiting to open up and play.
I definitely need to play the New Zealand version. And honestly, Brass Birmingham is one of the games in the top 100. I have few games that I have not played.
Isn't that the one that was number 1 and caused?
I think it is number 1 right now.
The world to go upside. Oh, it still is number 1. Okay.
Yeah, I think it is still number 1. I mean, it's number 1 for a reason. I'm just double checking here. Yeah, it's the number 1 game. I thought it was.
Wow.
And where is Great Western Trail? Great Western Trail is 17. So.
Oh, well, then it can't be as good.
Can't be as good.
That's not possible.
Yeah,
if it's in the Board Game Geek ratings,
I know. Then they're
that is
never
ironclad.
Yeah, ironclad. But
where's Lancashire then? Oh, not Nerves of Steel. Okay, so this is funny. You can't see it on the screen. So I typed in Brass Birmingham, and then I went to do like Brass, whatever, Lancashire, and I got Brass Balls and Nerves of Steel, which I've never heard of. This is a 2-player game. There's like no information, but it's really Brass Balls.
I don't.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I took us off. It is not. It's not rated anywhere. It might be really cool. It's 2010. I don't know. Okay. Where's Brass Lancashire? Just out of curiosity.
It is not too. It's at 21.
Okay.
And Great Western Trail 2nd edition is at 27. These ironclad BGG.
Oh, absolutely.
So, but I would like to play Brass Birmingham.
Yeah,
Um, um, I do like some of Martin Wallace's games, but of course, I know not everybody is, a Martin Wallace type player. He's
yeah.
got a unique type of game, but I bet it is phenomenal. I've just never played it.
Well, speak now on behalf of Brass Birmingham or forever hold your peace, because being the BGG #1 is not going to save it, though my vote would go toward Brass Birmingham personally. But
I would be fine with that. I think it's a solid fight, but I'm guessing Birmingham,
it's
I think at the end of the day would take it.
we just haven't had enough people playing it.
Mm.
And speaking up for it. So we'll see what comes in the comments later. So a travesty may have just happened, and we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it.
Oh, this
Although,
next side is brutal.
okay, let's start at the bottom.
Sure.
All right. Hey, what's up, Vanessa? Your power is decreasing, Gizmo. All right. So we're doing versus Terraforming Mars versus Lost Ruins of Arnak. If you can only keep one in your library, that's all right. 50% power is fine, Gizmo. If you can only keep one in your library, which one? Just type it in the chat. Did you pick Terraforming Mars, or was that?
I picked Arnak.
Oh, you picked all the ones I would have picked. All right.
And and I've
This is
played
a totally biased jury.
I've played a ton of Terraforming Mars. There is no doubt that game changed things.
Yeah.
That game did things in terms of deck building and engine building, that it just improved on what a lot of other games were trying to do, and it nailed it. My issue with
But
Terraforming, but
and why are we about? Because I'm putting the X on it. All right, it's done. The X is on Terraforming Mars.
Okay,
why?
It is too long. Now I know, was it Prelude kind of fixed some of that? I think it was Prelude. I never played Prelude. I know it kind of fixed some of that.
Feels good.
But it's just too long. Then you go to Arnak, which has some,
it can get dull.
It can, but it plays faster, which is great. And I don't know. I
played with a 13-year-old, no problems.
Yeah, and I got sucked into the theme. The player powers, what is that? The first expansion, that's just a must.
Yeah.
The player powers add an immense amount of more gameplay, and I haven't played any of the Lost Expedition stuff, which gives you, I think, another map or another temple track.
It's
to
like
go
a
up.
campaign, right?
There is a campaign in it. You don't have to play that. Yeah, but yeah, for me, it's just Arnak in just terms of theme, ease of getting into, time length. I'm an Arnak on that one.
All right. How about now this one? This is going to be a little harder for me.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that you brought Cthulhu Death
I
May
brought
Die.
Cthulhu Death May Die.
And I didn't know what to put against it. I was like, what on earth here is going to work? So I put a really solid game that people love, Seven Wonders. Which one do you want to argue for?
Well, I'll argue for Cthulhu, and I can basically argue in about 3 points. It is uber easy
and type in the chat which one you want. Cthulhu, you only keep one, Seven Wonders, or Cthulhu.
It's uber easy to teach. I've taught it multiple times. Give me 15 minutes, I'm going to have the game already taught. It is just, I'm not a big fan of dice chuckers, but this dice chucker works well. And you just kind of get immersed and you're having a lot of fun. It's such a neat, not as a unique mechanic, but you can get more powerful, and the game is hard. The game will beat you, but you will have more fun losing in this game than any other game you might lose in. But because it seems like a lot of times it comes down to these last rolls. People will die, but you're still kind of rooting and like, oh, we just got to finish this last boss off. But the way you get more powerful is by becoming more insane. But if you become too insane, you die. So there is this really fun balance of
Yeah.
trying to get more powerful, but not going too insane and blowing, your head blows up because you went too insane. But so many modules, so many episodes, so many different monsters. Every game is different. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at.
For Seven Wonders, unfortunately, I can't defend it much because it's for 3 players and up. I know they've got the Seven Wonders Duel, which a lot of people like. They've got the 2nd edition that came out, all the different expansions. They may even have a solo bit in the expansion. I don't remember that because I got that mixed up with Concordia had a solo. The only thing that I'm thinking, well, Vanessa is not into Seven Wonders, and Gizmo traded it on. Both have never played Death May Die. It basically comes down to what do we need in our lineup? And I think I would rather see Cthulhu versus Arnak personally.
And Seven Wonders,
I think it's more interesting.
Seven Wonders is good. My problem with Seven Wonders nowadays is it's a tough teach. To new people, or even to people who are kind of playing games, because the people who've been playing Seven Wonders are probably going to kill you because they know what they're looking for in the draft. And that's why before I've always tried, if I'm going to teach Seven Wonders, I may even pull out like a Sushi Go first so they understand what a drafting means.
Right.
That's an easy way
That's
to learn.
The thing
drafty.
It's hard for modern game groups, I think.
Yeah.
To teach something like that to a larger group. I'm glad it's there, but and I hope it stays there. And there's more games like it, but it's kind of niche anymore.
Mm-hmm. But it is an amazing game. There is no doubt Seven Wonders is an amazing game.
It's been one. I just haven't picked it up only because I don't want to learn it by myself and play myself against like 2 other me's.
Right. And here's the other thing. Really, that game shines at 5 and 6 people, at least.
Okay.
It just does.
But 5 and 6 gamers, like people that are already at a convention. This is a good convention game.
That's a great convention game. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially with people like saw some as at Gizmo. Yeah, I think it's like you got to learn that iconography, and it can be a little overwhelming, if you're not used to this. So
that deserves to feature, Vanessa.
That's sad.
Yeah. All right. We'll let that go. Okay, cool. So I don't know if that was the right choice. And that's why I put them together. I realized
that's a tough one. There are 2 different types of games. I mean, one is really going one-on-one.
And honestly, they're both as popular, but I think in modern times the Cthulhu would win out in that. All right. We've got Ark Nova versus Grand Austria Hotel. Please tell me that you picked Ark Nova.
No, I picked Grand Austria Hotel.
Oh,
I know. Okay, so this will be good. So you do your Ark Nova bit.
No, you do Grand Austria.
All right.
No, I'll do Ark Nova right after. Don't you?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I have to go down my list. I don't know if Grand Austria Hotel has ever been out of my top. I mean, maybe my top 7.
Have you played Let's Waltz?
And you know what? I have not played. I have it. I've had it. I have not. I have so much fun with the base game.
And really fight for this one because you're sinking.
That's fine because here's the thing. If I've noticed when I scanning through people like reviewing games and go back a little, this game is coming up a lot. People are starting to rediscover Grand Austria, and people are going, "Where has this game been?" Well, it's always been around. You just weren't playing. You're playing all the new stuff. It is just a pure Euros. It is super fun. It's not a hard teach. Yeah. And it is an amazing 2-player game. I would never play this game at 4. I know they in the new rules they kind of made because of the turn order they did a serpentine snake. This game is awesome at 2 players. I love it at 2 players. It's good at 3. It takes maybe a little bit longer. 4, I wouldn't play it at 4, but it's just point salad goodness. It's a lot of fun. I just love this game. It's probably my all-time favorite Euro.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that the chat spoke up in this one because Ark Nova is one of my 2 least favorite games that I've ever played in my life. I absolutely hated the experience, but I do recognize
Yeah.
that it is a very well-designed game. I recognize that so it's gonna win this one. But Grand Austria Hotel, I've only played it solo, but I've played quite a few games solo. I've played the Let's Waltz and its little expansions with it. Absolutely love it. That would have been my pick. I do not have the power here. I do not have the power, so I'm going to put up
And I'm surprised, Vanessa, you haven't played that.
Goodbye.
I thought maybe somebody around all like your gaming groups and stuff might have had Grand Austria, but I guess not.
And where's
Oh,
Gizmo?
I'm so
Yeah.
sad.
And that's fighting for your number 1 game. Good on you, buddy. Good on you.
Hey,
Keep it away from me.
if they
Keep
can
it
make
far away.
if they can make Arc
5-hour
Nova
games.
yeah, they got to make it shorter. Somehow they got to make it shorter. I don't know how they can, but it needs its own prelude, basically.
No.
But you know what? I will say this: Arc Nova. I know I'm gonna. I know, but like it's not terraforming Mars. It's got very there's some similar DNA. There's some similar genes in there, and I would say it definitely does it better than terraforming Mars, in my opinion. But again, that game length is But I did hear, I think one of the new expansions allows you to maybe go in and search for cards or something. I could be wrong on that, but I thought I heard something like that. Now, if that's the case, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
Literally. But yeah, it's too
Just
random.
too ugly
it's too
for
long.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too long, too ugly. I hope I never, ever, ever have to play it again. But strange things have happened. People love it. All right, we got Castles of Burgundy versus any edition, whatever edition of Castles of Burgundy you like. If it's the newest one, the Awakened Realms one, if it's the 20th anniversary edition, older, doesn't matter. Castles of Burgundy versus the classic Orleans.
Well, my pick was the Orleans on this one. I love that game. Plus I got the deluxe. It's so fun, reaching in, you got all those wooden bits in your bag building area. It's not a hard teach. I've talked to some multiple people. They're like, I want to play that again. I want to play that again. You're going around your little tracks. I always play it with the Trade and Intrigue expansion. I use the Trade, not the Intrigue. The Intrigue gets a little wonky, but Trade gives you a whole new board. I forget the name of the Influence board or whatever, but also gives a whole new stack. Because like in the base game, your round counters was this like stack of cards, and they were kind of the same 3 or 4 cards. But in the expansion, you have is it 18 rounds or 16 rounds? Every card is different in terms of what's coming up the following round. And that was awesome. And I love Orleans. That game will forever.
And what's the expansion?
There was
it's like a blue box.
The newest expansion is the Plagues. So you have rats and stuff. I haven't.
Invasion. No, I'm thinking Invasion.
Oh, Invasion. And you know what? I never played Invasion.
Okay.
But I know I've heard the Plague is pretty good. Because it's just more stuff, I think, at the end of the day. That base game is just with a Trade expansion, just to have that extra board and the round cards. That game is magnificent.
Okay. Do we have anybody standing up in defense of Orleans? Going once? Of course, there's a lag.
I'm sure,
which is never fair. So I'll change it later if you speak up. But otherwise, no matter how good, I don't really have to speak in defense of Castles of Burgundy. I've talked about that one plenty.
Have you played Orleans?
I have not.
Oh,
it's one of those because I have to get I think I have to have Invasion to play it solo.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
I haven't gotten any more having to learn for me a lot of games quickly. If I have to learn the base game and then the expansion and then the solo for the expansion and apply it to the base game, I'm way slower to get to it. So this is a convention game. Like the convention I went to last weekend, I got top 15 games. It was amazing.
Oh, wow.
this is something, if I can ever make it up your way for one of yours, you can teach me this, because I want to. I just don't want to have to learn the base expansion and then solo.
Oh,
So,
yeah, totally.
but I'm
Yeah, I
letting
get
chat
that.
decide it. So it is.
I'm sure they're gonna give it to
Orleans is going
castles.
down.
Yep. Which is fine. I used to be a big fan of Burgundy, but like I said, War Out's welcome with me.
I could see why.
Played it so many times, yeah.
That's how I got
But
with Obsession.
I
It's
will not
wonderful.
fight,
I'm
yeah.
just done. I'm done. Okay, here we go. Totally nonsensical mashups now. I like this.
Yeah,
Except that top left one. That top left one is still makes sense. Obsession. We're going bottom right. If you can only have one in your library. So thinking about it, Obsession, Pride and Prejudice as a board game, or Camel Up, Wild, Ruckus, party game for a nice big group. You can only keep one in your collection. Which one are you going to keep? Obsession or Camel Up? And you can even switch sides on this if you need to, Gary. Which one would you keep?
I think for me, I think I would still keep Obsession.
You would still keep Obsession?
Because there's other games, if I needed like a Camel Up type, I know there's other games that I could pull out that could like give me the same feel, like a Ready Set Bet or something like that. So I would keep Obsession. It's unique enough for me to keep it around.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got Gizmo going against Camel Up. If I were to weigh in, I would probably. That's hard because Obsession is one of a kind. I don't believe that we do have another game. There are some that are coming that are similar, like Botany, but that's only theme-wise. Gameplay-wise, quite different. So, you haven't gotten to play it yet, Obsession yet, Vanessa? Have you played Camel Up? Right now, Camel Up's going to the grave. And if somebody decides to save it later, speak up later, and we shall reverse time.
No take backs.
And we will have Zombie Camel Up. Oh, take backs all over the place. Because what we're going to do is make up the rules as we go. And
okay. Oh, there you go.
We're going to complain about the unfair results after.
Right.
Right. This is why I'm not a game designer. Or I should be. That would be fun. All right. Great Western Trail versus Time's Up. You only get to keep one in your collection. So we've got Obsession in our collection. Of course, it might go. What should face off against Obsession? Great Western Trail or Time's Up?
Yeah, I got to go with Great Western Trail.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's a pretty quick one. If
that's
anybody wants to speak up for Time's Up, I mean, look at the crowd we're in.
It's kind of a layup. Yeah.
We're with people that play board games. I do think Time's Up deserves it, like to stay in, but not against Great Western Trail.
I would agree.
That's just how it rolls. That was easy. All right. Great Western Trail would never be in your collection. Oh, so Time's Up, Vanessa. Hold on. We got a tie. We got a war between Gizmo and Vanessa. Oh, no, we don't. Jake came in. Jake, you saved it.
Yeah.
Jake, you saved it. Good to have you back, Jake. All right. All right, next one. Jake has entered the chat. Cthulhu, Death May Die versus Lost Ruins of Arnak. You can only keep one in your library. Trouble is, it seems Lost Ruins of Arnak more have played. 33% power level. Oh boy. Oh boy, Gizmo, you're going to make it. You're going to make it. What do you think? Cthulhu, Death May Die or Lost Ruins of Arnak? I would go with Arnak personally.
I would go with Cthulhu. I can't even talk. Cthulhu. Because I still have more stuff to play in it. And I am just, like I said, even when I lose, I have a great time. Easy to teach. It is kind of like you kind of bring out this big game and people are like, oh, I got to learn. No. And then after one round are like, and who doesn't love just tossing a bunch of dice? And yeah, I'm going to stick with Cthulhu. As much as I hate it, I'm going to stick with Cthulhu Death May Die on this one. It's just too much fun. right now still for me.
Yeah. Well, I can't decide on it. So until somebody types it into chat, we are going to move. You'd pick Cthulhu. All right. So right now, Jake has it swinging toward Cthulhu. If you would like to swing it to Lost Ruins of Arnak, swing it my way. Type it in there. And again, I'll go back in time, just like the song that Gizmo was singing out for us there. But for the moment, there you go. All right. The big one. Castles of Burgundy versus Ark Nova. This makes me happy. This makes me happy. Oh, Arnak for you, Gizmo. Oh, we got a tie up. It's going back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jake.
Here we go with
I'm sorry, Jake. That was a good effort. If somebody wants to support Jake in his effort, don't go to GoFundMe. Just type Cthulhu in.
I am appealing these results, by the way.
Oh, you can totally appeal the results. They'll go to me, and I'll make the final judgment.
Right.
This is a very fair courtroom. Arnak is worthy too. Oh, don't go back, Jake. You can't go back. Don't go back. Stand your ground. All right, Castles of Burgundy versus Ark Nova. What are y'all gonna pick? You only get to keep one. Castles or Ark? I'm keeping, obviously, Castles. I think Gary, you're keeping the other one. Am I right? The one maybe. I can't speak.
You know what? Actually, in this, wait, are you asking for Ark Nova and Castles? You said.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I actually would keep Castles on this one.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh.
If both of those games were in front of me and said, you know, you can play one of these, yeah, I'm picking Castles.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm not going to spend 4 hours.
I just think Castles is it's an easier teach. It's an easier play.
Yeah. And I've played it a lot, so I would know what I'm doing. And
yeah. All right. This makes me happy. I didn't want to see that go any further. My will is done. All right. Final four. Final four goes pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, and we ended up with Euros. Big surprise. Who would have seen that coming?
Yeah. Well, wait, is Obsession a Euro? I think he's an American. I mean,
it's a Euro-ish.
It's Euro. Yeah.
What would you call it? Because it's not Ameritrash. So what is it?
It's not Ameritrash. I don't even know if I would consider it a Euro. Wow, that's
while we're figuring this out. It's Great Western Trail versus Obsession. I mean, would you consider one.
Arnak a Euro?
I would consider it Euro-ish. So there's this category. There's Euro. There's Ameritrash. There's Party and all that. There we go. And then there's like it's like when people describe the United States. If you're outside the United States, sometimes people think like New York, Los Angeles, and nobody knows what's in between. Well, that's like everything. And that's what I feel like. Like there's Euro and Ameritrash, but there's all these things like Lost Ruins of Arnak and Obsession in between. What are they?
Yeah, I would say Obsession is Euro adjacent.
Okay.
I would almost think that maybe Arnak is almost.
Yeah, Ohio
Ameritrash adjacent. But see, there's like really.
It's more. It is. It's definitely not Euro.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Yeah. Okay, so we've got a vote.
It's like an Ohio. It's an Indiana.
we've got a Great Western Trail. We've got an Obsession. Yeah, Pennsylvania, Ohio. I was born in Ohio. It exists. Who knew? All right, Great Western Trail it is. Jake came in with the swing vote.
All right.
The German's name. The German. I'm going to put this up because I don't know. I will have to look it up. I don't know if you know what that is, Gary. That German names the states mean. I've seen some memes for different like state identities, but okay. Which one to use out? It is
Obsession. Yep.
It is Obsession. Okay.
Which I'm fine with that. I'm fine.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
They're both great games.
All right, Castles versus Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Well, you know what my pick would be. I'd be picking Arnak.
Why? Other than you're tired of Castles.
I'm tired of Castlebird. You know what? Here's the other thing.
We got one vote for Castles.
I don't want to deal with sheep and cows anymore. I like the Indiana Jones type feel that just plays to me, and the gameplay is just fun.
Okay, we're gonna see if Gizmo called it with top left being the winner. All right, we got a vote for Arnak, but we got 2 for Castles. I don't matter in this. I
thought you were the tiebreaker.
Well, sometimes rules are flexible. So I'm going to let the chats, I'm going to allow the chats ruling to stand, as hard as that is, actually.
Boo.
I do think Arnak deserves it, but I think Castles is actually easier to teach.
I would, well,
which is why you're sick of
it. Slightly, yeah.
All right, everybody, prove Gizmo wrong. Don't let the top left bracket win. Castles of Burgundy versus Great Western Trail. You only get to keep one. What is the greatest game of all time?
Cows. It's cows versus cows.
It is. How did we end up?
Of course.
With such boring themes. I wanted to see Code Names win the greatest game of all time. Jake for Great Western Trails. I like it. Castles of Burgundy forever. I'm not surprised. This is you, Gizmo. You get the power, which is so unfair since you called it. Castles of Burgundy. Okay. All right. Let me officially do this. Goodbye. And Castles of Burgundy is, can I bring it to the front? Look at that technology. Castles of Burgundy is the, in this very scientific, perfectly done competition. Now, did you bring Castles of Burgundy, Gary?
No, Marty did. So
Marty wins. Who knew?
He wins.
I would win.
He had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
which is sad because
he had 6 losses out of the 8. And he ends up his 2. He came from behind, and he
oh boy, good picks there, chat. Good job getting.
That's why
Marty.
That's why he's rolling dice and he's taking names.
And he's taking names. I mean, I was feeling kind of awkward. Like, well, he's not winning anything. It's gonna be. Oh, that's very sad. Now, next time we're getting close to our 60 minutes. What did happen to Marty? I'm actually concerned, Vanessa. I'm going to put that up here. Marty, where are you?
We're wondering what happened to him, too.
I know. I just want to make sure he's okay. I'm okay that you totally stood me up. But but now I'm just
we'll
worried.
Have him back.
It was a busy weekend.
Yeah, well, it was a busy weekend. Yeah,
it was a busy
because we had to kind of move this a little bit, too, so...
Yeah. And then I canceled it, and then we had to move it. So yeah, well, real quick update, everybody. So yeah, it's good to be back. It looks a little different behind me. We missed last month because I was moving, so slowed down on videos and all that. But we're back into full swing here. So I decided to do RV living. So I'm living in a really cool RV right on the Sound, beautiful view and all that. Hopefully, get to show you guys all that. But still doing everything. Still got my studio. But next time, Gary, you brought up wanting to do rankings, like where we have those colored S rank, A rank, B.
Yeah, a little tier ranking.
Yeah, we're going to do tier. Yes, the March Madness in May. Exactly, Gizmo. And I didn't call it March Madness in the video because I was like, well, hey, actually, my thumbnail creator, he brought it up. He was like, well, a lot of people might not know what that is. And then I was like, and to be fair, I barely know what that is. So, we'll call it something else. But that's what it is March Madness. But yeah, tier ranking. I was trying to think, we should narrow it down to a category.
Yeah, like a fun category, like would be, we could have like 20 games or something, because you want to pull up the like the box covers, that way you can slide them up. I don't know, Chad, is there like any like interesting
Nomadic Life? That's right.
Like interesting tier, like would be an interesting category, like games that have outstayed their welcome. The S tier game. Maybe Castles would be my S tier.
Actually, I like that. I like that. Like, instead of something like our favorite co-op games. Yeah, it's for real, Jake. Yeah, no, I live in an RV. But these things, look, I'll show you guys around sometime. These things are my dream home is like studio apartments, and it turns out the RV, when I met some friends in it, I was like, this is my heaven. I love this. But no, I kind of like that idea, like something negative, but we have to pick like the best of
Right.
what we're sick of.
Yeah. The most overhyped games that have yeah, like you have to like use like
Ranking winners that make Gary sad.
There you go. It could be like the top 200, like
Yeah.
games in yeah, what would be, yeah, we'll figure it out. S tiers are fun, or tier rankings are fun.
They are. Okay, so that gives some thought to that. And everybody in chat, if you watch this later, you can type in the comments ideas for that. And everybody here, of course, you can, I guess you can always message me on like Instagram, or if you ever, I'm in Marty's Discord. So the rolling dice and taking names, you don't see me commenting a lot, and I'm not super active on Discord, but when I am, I'm in there, or my game stores chat. So you can message me in Discord, Board Games for One, or Instagram, Board Games for One. And I want to get Nick back here as well. So we'll see about that. But yeah, we'll do that ranking, and maybe we'll bring like a total of 20 games, and have to place some things that we're real tired of. I'll figure out how to word it so YouTube knows it exists.
Yeah,
so
we'll
those
figure it
suggestions are welcome too. All right. Yeah, I get Wi-Fi in my RV, Vanessa. I get internet. It's it's a permanent setup, so I'm hooked up to electric and Wi-Fi, and I've got a washer and dryer in here, like a mini washer and dryer. I've got everything I need. Septic tank hooked up, so I'm living the life. This is not camp life. I'm too fancy for that. All right. Well, we're about at the hour, Gary. Any last thoughts, and where can we find you in Discord or elsewhere?
Yeah, you'll see me popping in like in your the Discord, the Bold and the Beautiful, like is where Brandon and
I need to hop in
yeah,
there.
and
You're
then
right.
also,
We had
yeah, and also Rolling Dice and Taking Names Discord, which is a great Discord, super lively too. Both of those Discords are great to get into and just chat with a bunch of people, or just talk about games or whatever. And but yeah, and then I'll be at Gen Con this year, and yeah, that's kind of where you'll find me.
Okay. Awesome.
And here,
Vanessa and Gizmo, if you will, I know you're both on Discord. I have you both in there. So I will, if we have, it's a little hard having 5. I like to kind of cap at 4 people. So let me see the group I can put together. I may only be able to take one of you for the ranking. So let me reach out to you on Discord. It's on Tuesday evening. So we'll see you all next month. I'll do all this behind the scenes. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming and hanging out. It's a pleasure. I'll message you, Vanessa and Gizmo, for 4 weeks out, okay? All right. Thank you, Gary.
you bet. It's a lot of fun. Thanks so much for having me.